Wonder and surprise. The great economist Adam Smith said that the basis of discovery and breakthroughs in knowledge came out of wonder and surprise. And increasingly through my life, I've realized that this is true. We very easily get into ruts, take things for granted, lose our sense of amazement or curiosity through the humdrum repetition of life, and everything tends to lose its magical specialness. And then something jolts us out of that, and we have a sudden sense of wonder and surprise, and we need to answer the question, why? Why this? Because we have inbuilt huge curiosity. And so I've increasingly thought that we should try and encourage that sense of wonder and surprise in various ways. The most obvious one that I've done is basically to keep changing my interests. That is the focus of my concentration and attention. So I work on, as it were, glass or tea or some subject, and really have a sense of wonder as I discover new things about that. But there's a point at which you have discovered enough, and there's no longer a great sense of surprise at what you're discovering. So you have written your account of your journey and exploration, and then you don't go back over it and try and dig the furrow ever deeper, but rather you move on to another area which is new, fresh, and full of surprise. So that's one method I use, changing disciplines, moving from anthropology to medicine to political theory to demography to history, whatever is appropriate. And by changing your discipline, by changing the subject you're studying, you get constant shocks of wonder and surprise. And each of my books is really a description of one of those moments or a series of moments. The other main method I use is to change the area or the place in which I am. I'm stuck in a rut or furrow in my little village in the Fens near Cambridge, and I don't change that, nor do I change my workplace. I've worked in Cambridge for 50 years, but I change the places I study and spend time in. So whether it's closer, going around Europe and discovering new parts of Europe which I never knew about, or earlier going to Scotland, and more extremely and profitably going to entirely different worlds. First of all to Nepal 20 times. Each time I go there is a jolt because things have changed, and although a lot of it is now familiar, it still gives me new sense of wonder and surprise. And the same with Japan. I've been there about 8 or 9 times, and maybe the first shock has worn off, but each time I went I was surprised, amazed, puzzled, and filled with wonder at the beautiful aesthetics and civilization that the Japanese had carved out. And above all, recently, in the last 20 years, with China, going there almost every year, because China just fills you with constant wonder and surprise. It's partly because of its huge size, so there are several Europes within China, and you can go to different parts with different foods, housing styles, languages, topographies, geographies, and you are constantly discovering. It would take a lifetime to explore all of China, and also its great ancient civilization. And the real sense of surprise and wonder is how it held itself together over all these millennia under the pressure of barbarians and others from the outside. So China fills me with wonder and surprise, and likewise my friendships, and this is a recent discovery. I've increasingly found that almost everyone I meet, if you start to talk to them, probe their lives, someone who looks just fairly humdrum on the surface has a deep and interesting history, take on things, and a short conversation blossoms often into something much deeper. So friendship and the exploration of other personalities and making new friends is also a very good way of exploring wonder and surprise.